Yes, we are live once again. The Reentry Connect podcast about the broken system. Yes, again, we have these special guests here once again. We have Miss Sarita Tolson, Miss Karen Backus. We always come to spread the information and knowledge and understanding of reentering society and things that go on inside society. And also, we deal with things out here in the world, the collateral consequences that we all go through with the broken system, things that haunt us from our past, that doesn't allow us to live everyday life as we want to. But we're here to touch on these things again. Here it is again, your host, Keenan Hudson, and Miss Sarita. Go ahead and scare it off, and followed by Miss Karen. And let's go ahead and introduce yourself again.
Absolutely. This is Sarita Tolson. I'm a keynote speaker. Please check out my new website, www.saritatalks.com. And I have a very, very personal journey that I'm still on to try and put my case behind me and move forward. So I'm really interested in opening up this dialogue and getting the word out there that, we can serve time in the penitentiary, but it seems like we're going to be serving it for the rest of our lives. I'm trying to change it. Who can help me? Karen?
Hi, I'm Karen Backus. Today is my 7-year anniversary of being out of prison.
Congratulations.
Doesn't seem that long, just seems like yesterday, but that's okay. Every day is a good day, so just persevere and keep pushing forward. I feel like I have a lot of personal experience with the system being broken as well, from inside and outside. Having college degree and a master's, it's difficult for me to even find a job. And I feel like I did my time. I should be able to come out and prove myself. So,
and that's right. And prove ourselves.
Prove ourselves. And like you said, and just to elaborate just a little bit on the topic, while we stated, that it's a broken system, I know many of us always can relate to the collateral consequences that we go through. Collateral consequences is more so things that are hindering us from living everyday life. Such as, because you have a felony, you can't get a house, or you can't move into an apartment without the landlord doing a background check, or you can't get certain jobs because you have a felony, you've been in prison, they feel as though you're not deemed ready or deemed actually trustworthy of working at a certain organization or establishment. And not even that, you can't even join certain organizations or even start an organization. Can't get your real estate license. So there's different things. And when we refer to collateral consequences, these are things, and there's over 800 of them, but these are things that are hindering us, especially ex-cons, people that have been in prison, that has reformed their lives, from moving on and doing things as a normal citizen, as we are. Mm-hmm. So if we get our citizenship back after it's been taken away from us serving the time for our consequences, why can't we live normal day life as we normally should?
Why can't we?
And that's the biggest question. So we're going to open up that dialogue. Anybody got questions, to throw it in the chat, throw it on the comments, and we're going to be sure to post it. But go ahead, kick it off.
I used to tell women in prison all the time, hey, that judge, he might have sentenced you to some time, but we really, in actuality, have one judge. Okay. So that time's is over now. We're out in the free world, and let's talk about the barriers, the stumbling blocks. Okay. I refuse to let anything stop me, but was it easy to get things done? No. And it's not, it's still not. You talked about a real estate license. I cannot have a real estate license. I cannot have a peer support specialist license. I cannot get any certifications through the Department of Mental Health. I also was turned down for housing. These are all things that are, let's see here, if I was a peer support specialist, I could be helping people. If I could get these certifications from the Department of Mental Health, I could also add those to my resume and maybe get a better job than what I, would typically go to. As a real estate agent, there's endless potential. I go to these jobs, I go to these things, they have permanent exclusion list. I asked the real estate bureau, is there a statute of limitations? It's been 15 years. No.
Wow.
It's everlasting. So here is my problem. If the judge is sentencing you to time, why did he even do that?
Yeah.
What if the time is a forever? That's what they need to tell us, because we come out, we're full of hope, dreams, ambitions, and drive.
Mhm.
And then you hit that wall, and you got to go around it and find another way. And luckily, we, all three of us, are going around it the right way. But you can tell how someone who doesn't have the fortitude, who didn't get the tools, who maybe doesn't have the education, that wall might just direct them right back to the penitentiary.
Yep. I mean, it's really like we've all been sentenced a life without being able to be productive citizens, which just makes no sense. And it's like I said a couple weeks ago on the podcast, society over the years, it just got to this point to where, once you've committed a felony offense of really any type, you're frowned upon forever. And I think people are kind of coming around, but it's not changing quick enough. I mean, I really think if they allowed us to come right back in and get on our feet, I mean, I feel as an employer, if I owned a business, I would be more apt to hire someone like you, Sarita, because you got all your cards on the table. They know everything. And I guarantee you the employees that they know nothing about are probably doing illegal things they haven't been caught for. So, I mean, to have an employee working for you that is trying to prove something that is a book, to me, is a win-win. I mean,
and they'll give you the list of jobs.
Right.
Oh, you go work for Amazon. Yeah, Amazon's going to hire you, and then 2 weeks later, they're going to fire you. But they're still going to get that tax credit because they hired a felon.
Right.
Absolutely.
I would prepare my friends and say, hey, well, when they do fire you, if it happens, you got that paycheck to get you through till you find another job. This is on a piece of paper they give you leaving the penitentiary. And you're like, ooh, I can go there. Ooh, I can go there. Ooh, I can go there. No, you can't. No, you can't.
That's interesting. I got out and I went to the YMCA because being an aerobic instructor, the gal that came from outside that actually worked for the YMCA for a long time told us, if you girls get your certification, they will hire you. I mean, so I did. Actually, I think I just started going to the Y. Kind of, I was still very uncomfortable and I just wanted to acclimate myself to society. And I had a gentleman that knew me. It was a small community, Platte City, Missouri. Might as well just go ahead and say it. He came to me and he asked me, he said, hey, do you want a lifeguard? And I'm like, well, I'm a good swimmer, but I said I'd have to get certified. And he goes, we'll pay for it. So they sent me a whole weekend of being certified, which was written and actually, the physical aspect. They taught you how to rescue, the CPR, all that stuff. It was really extensive and it was hard work. And of course, I was in a class with people a third of my age, but I was right there with them.
Right.
Then I started working. I did one class of water aerobics on a step. Sarita, you knew me from Chillicothe and I love step class. Well, I did it in the water and the people were just loving it. The next day, the guy that hired me and spent this money to certify came to me. I could just see it in his eyes. He was devastated. He's like, look, he said, I got some stuff going on. Corporate's asking. He goes, just go home for a week and let me get this straightened out. And I knew what was going to happen. And I kept calling him. And later he came in and he said, look, I can't, my hands are tied. They literally came to the office and took all my employment files, because I knew someone that worked there, and got rid of them. So there was no proof that I was actually working. And the letter that I got said something to the effect of basically saying that I was never employed, and that given the situation, that they could not hire me. And I thought, oh my God, YMCA is supposed to be family orientated. I mean, what threat am I going to be? I was opening the pool at 5 a.m. in the morning. None of the young kids wanted to do it, but I was there.
Yeah.
I mean, I walked around and made sure no one was drowning. I cleaned. I mean, I did so much better than the young people in there, because really it was my first job and I had something to prove. Yeah. And I still to this day am just floored, because they have such a community family thing that they preach, but it's not there. And that's what they gave us in prison too. Go to the YMCA, you girls with your aerobic, certification, your personal training certification, they'll hire you in a minute. Yeah. 2
Set
weeks
up
to
for
remit, and
failure.
I was gone. Yeah. It was devastating.
And that's what it
Exactly. And
is.
just the word devastating. Like you get this good job, you're happy, you're like, I'm doing a good job. I'm doing better than everyone else on the staff, and now you fire me.
Yeah.
Now
Exactly.
I have nothing. Now, once again, I'm a piece of trash. Once
Mhm.
again, I'm insignificant. Once again, I'm a number. Once again, I'm nothing but a convict. Why are we convicts? Why are we inmates? Why are we felon? Yeah, we're a felon, but why am I all these things, these pigeonholed
Right.
terms? And
That's
I'm
it.
not a statistic. Stop making me one. I don't want to be unemployed. Give me a job.
Yes. And that's very common. It's
Mhm.
very common amongst a lot of people. And there's so many like people that go through that in America, that that's why the system is broken. Again, there was a time where I worked at Foreman Mills one time, and that's a clothing retail store. And as you said, as we continue and we prove our worth in these companies, we move up the ladder. We're around the bosses. We're around thousands of dollars and things like that. And then here it is. They come to give me a promotion. They sent my paperwork to central office. Once the paperwork came back, the store manager told me, "Hey, I have to release you as a seasonal hire." And she had tears in her eye because I was one of the greatest employees there.
Yeah.
She, and here it was. They said you got to release him as a seasonal hire because he has a convicted felony. And I said, "Dang, like I just proved my worth. I completed all the paperwork that y'all wanted. Hey, listen, I have a conviction. I was locked up for XYZ, and I laid it all down for him at the beginning."
Mhm.
But then here it is, since they sent the central office made the final say because because he has the felony. And here it is. I outworked everybody that was hired for that back to school season. And usually they let people go. They mess with people's schedules where they won't work a lot. But here it is. I was working every day. I was working overtime. I was recovering the store. I was doing so many different things, and they let me go.
Mhm.
But and then it's crazy because that's not the only incident that happened. I mean, I've been to pretty other jobs where some of the managers were up front and they were honest. They said, "I'm gonna be honest with you. They're not going to hire a felon. They can check. They can check your application. Even though, like in Philadelphia, I think they did away with, hey, check the box. Yeah, the body did away with that. However, if you communicated on an interview, they don't have to respond to your application.
Yeah.
They can say, yeah, we gave the interview. At least that a person get the interview. At least, like, you know what I mean, which is okay. I totally approve of that, but for them to just turn you around again, going back to the collateral consequences, it is something that has to be broken. Especially if we believe in reform, if we believe in their rehabilitation, if we believe that, oh yeah, once you've done something bad or done something wrong in life, we believe that you can change your life around through the proper management, through the proper counseling, through the proper programming, and the necessary means. But if we stand on that, why are we honoring it? With giving people their lives back.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you said, we have.
And that's what they say. Oh, we want you to get out and get a job. We need these inmates to get out and get a job and start paying these taxes. I can't pay the taxes if I don't get a job. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I would prefer you don't interview me. Don't waste my time or yours.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine how much tax revenue is being lost? Not allowing us to work. I mean, I wonder if these politicians have ever looked into, what the loss of taxes by not hiring us.
Big business is getting the tax revenue, the credits, because they hired you. But then they're going to fire you.
Minimal. It's so minimal. Yes. I mean, that's a good point you brought up. And I'm trying to think. At one time, I knew how much it was. It's ridiculous. It's such a small tax incentive that, I mean, I can't imagine it even helping especially a big corporate. They should make it significant enough to pressure management to hire.
The impact is more like this. We say, or the company says, "Oh, we hire felons. We're trying to help people. We're trying to help people." It looks like Carlos says you don't even need all that to turn your life around. I did. Carlos, guess what? The more that you can put into your mind, the more that you can get behind your name, certifications, different avenues of employment, they help you to turn your life around. So we're still turning. We just want more opportunity.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying.
That's a great way to put it. Like you said, we're still turning, we're still learning, but we want more opportunity. There's opportunity.
I can create opportunity all day long. But if something is being excluded from me, let me have that too.
I agree. Especially,
I don't deserve it.
Especially if you're qualified way more than individuals that are being hired for certain positions.
Yes.
Like you guys have degrees, you have all the credentials, the experience and things of that nature, but they'll rather hire somebody that's knows nothing, doesn't have any experience, doesn't even have a degree yet, for the simple simple fact that they have a clear criminal record.
Yeah.
Right.
If that's not, passing judgment or being discriminative on like what is.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. And then they talk
sad.
about, we have all these jobs. Nobody's working. Nobody wants to work. You've got a whole workforce that is ready, willing, and able. Ready, willing, able, and capable.
And ready to put the work in.
Motivated. I mean, look at everybody now. There's so many people. I mean, my age is going to play in this, but I go to different places. You can go to fast food, and the people are just so, you can tell they don't want to be there.
Exactly.
They don't have
That
any
has nothing
customer
to do with
service.
your age. That's a thing.
Well, I know, but my kids are like, "Oh, Mom, you're getting old." But no, I mean, this generation, no disrespect, but I mean, honestly, people, Walgreens, Target, Kmart, every place you go, people are just, they don't give a damn. And I'm thinking, man, I would be here every day. I'd be smiling. I'd be making the customer feel great. And it's just insane.
And and just to touch on that, it's the crazy part, because I've had some great jobs, that did, shout out to a lot of companies that did give me a chance. They were great jobs. But the thing about that, Miss Karen, is when you see things like that, like you can see they don't want to be there and things like that, but in yourself, you can outwork everybody on the floor.
Yeah.
Now, what happens is though we come from a culture of strong-minded, strong-willed individuals, and we go hard at any cost. What happens is when your work ethics begins to outshine other individuals, now that's when the hate and the envy come.
Oh yeah.
Now they start picking with you for no reason. And here it go. Oh, well, she's doing this and she's doing that. And now, mind you, you're so objective is, listen, I got to do my job and be the best at it. I'm not trying to compete with nobody, but I'm trying to show, listen, I'm worthy of keeping and holding this position down. And I'm capable of moving up. But a lot of people get intimidated by that.
Yeah.
That's true. And when you get in that door, everybody talks about the American dream. Let's pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. You can go at 8. When I got out, if I had to scrub floors, I would have scrubbed floors. I worked 3 jobs. I used to get up early in the morning at 4 a.m. and do medical transport. 4 a.m., I'd be at one hospital that was probably 40 minutes from here and take it to St. Louis. This is from Columbia, 2-hour drive. Altogether, 4 hours on a Saturday and Sunday after working a full-time job during the week, and I was a part-time student at MU. I was not going to lose, but I'm tired of these obstacles. I'm tired of, where is my tap into the American dream? I've been turned down for housing. I've been turned down for license. I've been turned down for jobs. I want to make these dreams come true because I'm willing to work. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And there's so many more people just like me. Stop closing these doors and open them up. When that gate closed behind me, I expected the world to open its gates and let me in, and it didn't.
Yeah.
And and part of that too, now I will say, some of the things, and I know it varies state to state, But some of the things that you've mentioned, like as far as housing,
Mhm.
like I've told people before that it took 3 years, right, for me to get my own name on a lease. So for 2 of the years, it had to be a cosigner because for the simple fact is they trying to figure out, hey, where have you been? Who are you?
Right.
You know, it's the same thing when you're dealing with credit. It's better to have bad credit than to have no credit. Because now when a lender comes and checks your credit report, at least they know who they're dealing with if you have bad credit. But if
Right.
you don't have any credit, we don't know who you are. We don't know if you was on the face of the earth. You must have been in Mars somewhere. So
Yeah.
again, but certain things again comes over time, as I always mention. So the housing can come over time. Now, as far as the employment, there's a lot of places like anybody can hire you. They can hire you technically, but behind closed doors, hey, if they got a felony, you don't hire them.
Yeah.
But there's some places that do give that opportunity to whereas you can make, you know, a good amount of money on the things that you want to do or the things that you have a passion and a career on doing. You see what I'm saying? So it's just some places like that. But again, there's some things that come in time, but then there's some things where they say like you can't even work for the government if you have a felony in certain cases. And you know, but you know, they can really over trump that because how many people we know has a federal offense, you know, some of these top, you know, smart people that's been in federal prison where they turned around and started working for the CIA and working for these, you know, top secret services and things like that. You know, they can always trump anything they want to do, but if they don't want to do it.
There's a couple people, I mean, I can't think of a name specifically that, you know, became lawyers while they were incarcerated, just friggin', and, you know, very smart, learned the system, and they got out, a law firm hired them, and they got their law degree. And I honestly, Sarita, when I got out, I seriously thought I would go back and get my law degree and become a lawyer. And, I mean, it's ridiculous. They're like, no, you can't. No one in their right mind's going to, you know, they're not going to let you get your bar. And I'm thinking, well, how do these other people do this? But you're right. It sometimes, if you're known enough, you got that notoriety, you know, a big case that's nationally, they make the exception. So there's ways in there.
But here's the thing. We shouldn't have to require that exception. Not everybody's going to know someone. Not everybody's going to be as vocal. Not everyone's going to know how to navigate because they make it hard. They don't make anything easy.
Yeah.
They don't make it easy. Carlos, where are you at?
Listen what he said.
You're at, Carlos.
He said, because this is something important to look at right here. Like he said, I'm a real estate agent now and after 17 years in federal prison.
Right. What
state are you living in?
Yeah, because I'm an extremely red state. Now, Karen, you're in Florida, right?
No, I'm in Georgia, Atlanta.
Ooh,
he's
Atlanta.
in North Carolina. He's in
Yes, yes. And Keenan, you're in PA. Let me tell you, I'm in Missouri. Okay. I am in Missouri. We have tough sentencing. It's an extremely red state. So the things that I'm talking about might not apply to where you're at in North Carolina. There's lots of places that are more progressive. Now, this is my home. I take care of my mother. So I can't just pack up and go because I want to go have this opportunity. I have to make it where I'm at. I have to make the law change. You know what? When I was in prison and I was in a different spot in my life as far as my behavior and things like that, and I just got so sick and tired of being sick and tired in the penitentiary, I said, I'm going to stop adapting to this environment and I'm going to make this environment adapt to me. And that's what I'm taking right here, right now, in this moment, and for every step I make forward. You've got to adapt to us. We are people too. So you let somebody come through your door, you're not even giving them a second look, but you'll give them a job. But you can't give me a second chance.
Yeah. But you know,
my first chance, because when I served that time, that should be the beginning, not the end.
You know, and you guys both mentioned the fact that, you know, like I got in at the YMCA and the gentleman hired me. He knew me before I got arrested. So he was, you know, willing to give me a chance. and I've heard this from other people, you get your foot in the door and the management sees you and they're like, wow, this is the best employer I ever had. But then you're right, when it goes to the corporate office,
Mhm.
it's like black and white, felony, get rid of her, get rid of them kind of deal. So it's almost like, these big corporations, they should think twice and go to the management and say, well, how's this person? You know what I mean? Because like in your case, working at the clothier, like you're the best person there at the YMCA.
Right.
I was the only dependable person to get that gym open at 5 a.m. I'm telling you, every day that I wasn't on at the 5 a.m. opening, it was always late. And then everybody that had a membership there was pissed off because they were coming in to do the workout or swim, and they had to wait, for people to open it up. And it's like, but there's a disconnect between, especially the large organizations, between their corporate policies and procedures, monkey see, monkey do, no exceptions, and the people that are actually working hands-on with us that are in that situation.
Right.
And it's painful.
Yeah.
Look, you remember that because it's painful. First of all, when you come out, you got post-traumatic stress disorder. You've just been in a war zone. A lot of people are anxious. A lot of people, they're a ball of emotions. They already are feeling antisocial. It's hard to mix. So now I've got this job. I've got one of the integral parts of being a normal member of society. I'm so used to, because as you know, in the penitentiary, anything that you had was subject to get taken. I remember I had 2 boxes and 2 totes and my little TV, because I had the old TV for a long time. And people were like, oh, Sarita, you've got so much. That's all I have in the world are 2 boxes, 2 totes, and this bubble TV. Okay. And subject to anything could happen, and an officer come rip up all my stuff, and then I write it up, and they're like, okay, you might be right, but we're not going to pay for it. Everything you have is subject to get taken from you. So now I'm free. Don't take what I have. Now I want to be a part of society. I have a job. Don't take what I have. Stop stripping us of everything because we've already had that. We want something new. We want something different. We want the American dream. And you can only pull those bootstraps up so far.
Yeah, that's true. And like you said, it's like when you get stripped away with everything in there, then being stripped with more when you come out, especially when you think you're free, you're still in bondage.
Right.
When you believe that, you're liberated, it's like you're still locked down. And that's a sad state to be in, because here it is, we got individuals that has the mindset to conquer. We have the mindset to literally go to another level with certain things. And but people, it's like they'll rather suffer. As she mentioned, she was there early in the morning, opening up faithfully, showing that she's dedicated, a dedicated employee, a dedicated person that, is taking the job serious. But it's like companies, organizations will rather suffer than to take a risk of letting somebody that had a second chance prove themselves that they were worthy of the second chance, but still rather just to, nah, we're not going to deal with it. Little do they know how much talent, how much, mental capabilities and educated people that are in prison, that comes home, that are ready, to start. As I was on a podcast with Mr. Kurt Danish, how smart, he was to come out, and incorporate before he came out, and was able to come out and start a whole organization. Now he's doing reentry housing, different things like that. Now the government is reaching out to him and saying, hey, we want you to form this. We're going to give you $1 million grant for this, that, and the third. But it's like, wow, but you had to go through all this heartache just to prove yourself. And like you said, we come back in society and, we want that American dream.
That's right.
Everybody wants to live, have the house, without judging us, have that employment, applying for that job without judging us. You know what I'm saying?
That's a part of who I am, but that's not that's a part. You know what I'm saying? My past is not who I am. That was a decision that happened like that. So for almost 15 years, I spent inside a facility serving time. A lot of people can't even imagine doing 3 days in jail. much less 14 and a half years in prison. Okay. So the time that I was assigned by the state of Missouri within that facility it's not taken care of. It's gone. That time is gone. Okay. But that is not who I am. So stop making that me. Stop not giving me the same opportunity or chance, because let me tell you, when I get my foot in the door, I'm going to kick it open and show you what I'm working with. Give me a chance.
That's it. And how oftentimes, right, that when we do get around different people, organization, networking events, and then when you do share your story a little bit, people are like blown away and impressed of what you've done. Because a lot of times I've always say this, like they've always tried to say, hey, oh yeah, you're doing good for yourself, as if you're supposed to be doing bad.
Right,
you know,
right.
Like, but it's like, no, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Like I'm a human being. Yeah, yes, I was incarcerated, but I'm still a human being. I can still think the way you think. I can talk the way you talk. I still bleed blue the same way you bleed. So it's like but again, people just have this this way of thinking.
Pigeonholed you.
It pigeonholes you. And that's why the
stereotype.
System, and that's part of the broken system.
Yeah.
That's part of that broken system.
It is. And they're like, look at how good you've done for yourself. Look at how good I could be doing.
You could be doing.
Look at how much more I can be doing. And I'm willing, capable, able.
That is interesting, because you're right. I think the first couple of weeks I was out, I mean, you're just so shell shocked, but you're so thankful to be home and be out of that hellhole. And then, reality sets in a couple of weeks. And, Sarita, you and I consider us very strong-minded individuals. And, I got knocked down a lot, but I was able to get back up. But, I think about people that, are not there yet, don't have the confidence. And then you're just knocked down again. And that's a lot of reasons why people are in there to begin with, bad self-esteem and making bad decisions. And it just completely beats you down.
It's that cycle. And, you're not receiving any treatment when you go in there. Me and you had both talked on an earlier episode about having a younger roommate, that basically there are people who are cycled in and out of the system who really never had a chance.
Yeah.
So you don't know, when you're turning them down for this job, that they finally mustered up enough confidence to go in and ask for, that you've just beat them down for the umpteenth time in their life. And they were depending on that job. That might just be the breaking point to send them back to wherever they came from, that had them on the first thing smoking to the penitentiary.
And
they don't know anything different. They don't know about opportunity. They've never been given a chance. Sorry, hon.
No, it's okay. I tutored that GED program, which I think now is called high school equivalency.
Yeah, high set.
And so, all these women that got their GEDs and had scores that were phenomenal. Like I'd said in another podcast, I met women in there that were more intelligent than people I went to college with. And, they get their degree, they preach the whole time. I remember the warden being up there and the teachers about this, this is so great. This will give you so much more opportunity. This will get you a job when you get out. And it's bullshit. Excuse my French. But I mean, these girls made achievements and women that made achievements, something they never thought they could do. And I know now, and I psyched them up thinking, not knowing. And then they go out and you can't get a job at McDonald's, for God's sake. So what's a GED or HVA, high school equivalency going to do for you when you still can't get a job? That's just.
And I got a question.
Let's bring it back to this now. I'm sorry, Karen, you had spoken about, when me and you were a little bit older. What if I have small kids? What if I have these kids depending on me? I just got them out the system. I'm trying to navigate that. And one of their stipulations is you need employment. So now, not only might I lose my freedom, but I might lose my kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's stipulations for everything.
Yeah.
For everything.
So, quick question: if you guys right now, if you ladies, if you were to if you had a chance to address or say to one of the legislators, these lawmakers, about the broken system, what are some of the things you would say to them right now if they're viewing right now?
I'm going to tell them that I was inadequately prepared to enter into the workforce as an administrative employee because I lacked computer skills that were up to date and current. And I am very upset about that because I took a class to prepare for the outside, and all the skills that I learned in that class, I realize now are probably 10 years old. So I want them to realize that there are people who are entering into the workforce. And I swear there were days where I had a nice wardrobe, a nice smile. I was personable and a team player. Those are the only things that kept my job, because I could not send an email with an attachment. I could, you know what I'm saying? I was struggling. The drive, the sheets, the everything. I was struggling. And I thought that I would have been prepared. So you've got to educate us. Then you've got to have some type of, they talk about the prison or the school to prison pipeline. You need a prison to the workforce pipeline. Don't train me to be a factory worker. Okay. Don't put me in a prison out here. There's nothing wrong with working in a factory if that's what you want to do. But if I have an ambition that I want to run my own business, that I want to jettison through the ranks, I might start in the mailroom. I might start as a receptionist, but who's to say that I can't be the president of this company? Give me the skills, give me the tools, and then give me the opportunity. So I want them to know that you are training people within the facility to come out. And if they do get an opportunity, they are ill-equipped.
Right.
I left, listen, I'll put it in a perspective. When I went to prison, Facebook wasn't even popular. It was MySpace. I had a flip phone and the Motorola Razr was popular. That's how long ago that was. That's a long time. Okay. So when I came out and I took this class thinking I was really doing something, and they're showing me, oh, Excel. No one's using Excel. They're using Google Sheets. They don't show me how to open up multiple tabs on my computer. They don't show me how to set up my computer for 2 screens. All of these things I had to learn, and I had to learn them on my feet. I had to hit the ground running. So now I'm ready for those opportunities. I taught myself, and through the love and caring of the environment in which I worked at the Regional Economic Development Corporation, shouts out to Reddy in Columbia. They loved me through it and knew that, hey, this girl is smart, but she doesn't have the fundamentals. So I've got those fundamentals. Now, where is the position now that is suited for all of the skills that I have? So first, help me to build them to where I'm on the same even playing field as everyone else, and then make sure I can get to the job that I deserve, not just what you want to give me.
Cool. How about you, Ms. Karen? If you had to,
I have to say exactly what Sarita's saying, because what I saw especially is, like, remember they had cosmetology in prison, but they didn't even have, I don't know what percent of the population, a capability of even allowing people to get that certification. It was ridiculous. And the program itself, and I'm not a licensed cosmetologist by any degree, but what they were teaching them was so archaic. Yes. I mean, they weren't allowed to do the stuff that, everybody does now. And I mean, it was just ridiculous, but it just amazed me. There were so many young girls that wanted to get into that. And I thought, that's a great thing. And they'd wait years to get in it because they'd only take, what was it, Sarita? Maybe 20 girls.
Yeah, well, you had to be under 5 years left on your sentence.
Yeah, but how many students could they actually have in that program?
Probably 12.
See, and you're talking, we had close to 2,000 women, and it was the same thing. The technology that they had at one point, they had a couple different programs, but it was like one classroom. So you're going to give maybe 120 girls, I'm saying maybe there's 3 or 4 programs, maybe 30 people, and that's all you're going to do. And, and that's only right if you're less than 5 years. Well, what about the people that had, like in my case, I had a 15-year sentence, and I was educated. So that pretty much slapped me down right there. Like, you can't get into any of this, So I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to sit here. And I knew, having had a financial crime, that sure as hell wasn't getting back in the field that I was in. So I really thought about doing cosmetology, and I finally went and asked about it, and they're like, oh, honey, no, you're educated. It's behind. Yeah. And then when I was tutoring, I saw them knock older people out my age because to DOC, it didn't matter. They were too old. And I'm thinking, it's absurd, but I'm the same way. I think they need to tell the senators, the politicians, that you guys need to develop a program where you're working in prison with bona fide companies with the intention of getting a job when you get out. It's like an internship, even if it's learning dry cleaning, but they have so many dry cleaners that actually are promising that they're going to hire these people, and they need to make that profitable or make that beneficial for the employer more than a $500 tax deduction. But it needs to really be an internship. They need to guarantee that, because otherwise you're slapped when you get out, because nothing you've done is up to date. If even by chance you were able to try to get into the field, because the reality of it is you're not going to get a job anyways because you have felony conviction.
Here's the reality of it. Knowledge is power. And I'm going to make 2 examples, and, people might have their feelings might be hurt. Okay. They didn't want to teach slaves how to read. Okay. Why did they realize that we don't need them to read? Right. Because when you get smart, you realize there's more out there. There was a church, the Catholic Church. They didn't want the Bible translated in the common man's language. I'm just saying. I went there.
Due to
I went there.
Due to guidelines concerning the broadcasting.
Yes, but I went there. If you don't want someone to read and know what you're talking about,
that's why the law is so hard. It's definitely a great topic.
That's my idea, not Keenan's.
But it definitely can be expressed at a later time or on a different show, which is okay. I totally understand the concept and what you're getting to.
If I can't understand what's going on, I can't change it.
So one of the things that I would definitely say to, like, one of the lawmakers and the legislators, the people that's in charge of the rehabilitating sector of prisons, is, as we mentioned earlier, the correct programming, the correct involvement of us return to society, the right employment that will hire us. We understand that we are coming from a culture shock. There is a load on everybody's back. We understand that there can be some forms of depression, post-release and, during our release. We know that, there are issues with communicating, that's very frustrating as well. But at the same time, as you mentioned, we're still able to work, we're still able to, supersede those collateral consequences in which tries to hold us down. It's bad enough that we got to face the rejections. It's bad enough that we got to face, a lot of the negative impacts in which we used to know, that's surrounding us, that's calling us back to what we used to know. It's better to take that risk and give that opportunity versus, okay, we're going to sign you on because we're getting that federal bond to hire you, but then release you in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. There's a lot of more thorough analyzation that should be taking place, for especially like ex-inmates, ex-cons, because it's not fair. And that's why we always refer back to the broken system. So
a simple thing too would be, instead of them being able to release us in a week or two, make those tax deductions, longer. You have to keep that person. You have to keep that person employed for up to a year. If anything, you might have a better chance of changing the corporate attitude when they see you've been there a year and you're an all-star player, and everybody's so impressed with you. But yeah, you're right. I never thought about that. They get you in there and kick you out, and they got their tax reduction.
Yeah, and and just
So,
make it a hard no. Don't waste my time or yours.
right.
If you're gonna turn me down, then just do it, so I know to go somewhere else. And don't
Absolutely.
play these games, because you're playing with people's lives. If I'm beat down, if I'm already been turned down, some people revert back to old behaviors because they don't see any opportunity. So where do they see the opportunity? The wrong way.
Well, yeah, and you're desperate. If you got babies at home to feed,
Yeah.
I mean, I thank God I got out and I didn't have to worry about it. Like I said, I'm like 1% of the population that I didn't have that to worry about putting food on the table. And it still, even today, makes me feel guilty because I think about so many good people that I knew have struggled their ass off to get anywhere. And they didn't deserve that, It's just heartbreaking.
And the struggle is real.
It's real. It's real.
Struggle is real.
I know we on a 45-minute mark. I know we can talk all night. But for the most part, again, it's your host, Keenan Hudson, the Reentry Connect podcast, dealing with the broken system. So, Miss Sarita, Miss Karen, if you both can just, share your last and final encouragement words to individuals that's probably listening right now, that may be getting ready to face this type of issue. Could you please go ahead and just share what you would say to them to keep them motivated, encouraged, and inspired to do more?
I'm going to tell them, pursue your education. Learn as much as you can on your own. There are people that, we've talked about, come in and out of the facility. Ask them questions like, hey, I've been here 10 years. What do I need to know about a phone? What kind of program should I be investigating? And you're going to have limited tools and resources. But as Karen knows, Karen was becoming an aerobics instructor. I was heavily involved with programming. Like, you have to educate yourself, never give up on you. And these barriers, these obstacles that we're speaking of, we're going to break down those walls. And it might not be me, but it's going to be somebody like us, because the ones that have the experience and the negative outcomes, we're the only ones that know how bad it feels to make it a positive.
Right.
Ms. Karen?
I think I would tell anybody getting out that when you do go apply for a position, wear your badge of error and be honest. I mean, just get it all out there on the table, speak from the heart. Don't hide anything, because even if they say no, it really does help your confidence to be able to be proud and hold your head up that you can get through this. And Sarita's right. You need to educate yourself. You don't have to go to college, not on that level. Just educate yourself, read, learn about something that interests you, because I think human nature is, if you go in to something you're interested in doing and you show some knowledge about it and you show excitement about it, people will be positive towards you. Yeah. I do think things are going to change, but we just need them to change quicker. And my advice would be for any of you ladies out there, even guys, when you're struggling, get a hold of someone that's been out a little bit longer, that's doing good, because it is good to have some moral behind you. I'm more than willing to help anybody that's getting out, that just needs some positive talk or maybe some direction that I've learned in the last 7 years since I've been out. You can email me. I'll give you my number. But you have to stay positive. You have to know that having made it through the system, done your time, is a great achievement. And you have to hold your head up, and you just have to persevere. God will take care of you in the end. But we have to stick together as brothers and sisters, and we have to work through all this and get the system changed for the next person getting out. And then hopefully in that cycle, in the cycle of people going to prison, in the cycle of families going to prison, our children going to prison, and so on and so on. So I'm going to give you my email. Feel free to contact me. It's KKEIL0319@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you.
We appreciate that. Thank you
Happy
so
7th
much.
birthday.
Yeah, that's definitely. And I'll definitely post that email in the chat as well. So like I said, I'll just definitely give some encouragement to individuals that are in the position and, to transition. And again, you always got to know where you want to go, where you're going. So you got to have that roadmap, that plan of when you're coming home. You're going to face a lot of the rejections. You're going to have a lot of obstacles, but if you stick through it and stay persistent and staying true to what you want to do, I'm quite sure that it'll always come around. Most times people don't understand that being incarcerated, even though they deny you for employment, things like that, it can actually push you to being an entrepreneur,
Right.
If you have that type of motivation and that drive. So you got to outweigh your options and never just think that things are just going to be given to you under entitlement, because nobody owes you anything. There's many a times where people just think, oh, they need to give me this, or the government needs to do that. They don't have to do nothing.
Right.
You're here on this earth. You made the decisions you made, and we have to learn to deal with them accordingly. So I believe that that there's definitely much hope. There's much of a future for every individual. So without further ado, I know we're coming to an end here.
I just want to throw in real quick too. I don't want them to ever think that they're alone. We went through that too.
Yeah.
You're not alone. You're not the only person that's been turned down because of your case.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So appreciate it, Big. I can comment in here, but I know we're coming to an end of the show right here. But again, I know we're going to be dropping our emails in the chat. Again, we appreciate having our guests here all the time. Miss Sarita, Miss Karen. Again, this is an every Thursday thing. Unfortunately, we was not able to be met by Miss Sheena tonight, this evening. She's definitely still a big impact of this Thursday night show. So again, without further ado, I know it's the Reentry Connect podcast dealing with the broken system, but for tonight, we're just going to have to end it. So we give our farewells. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thanks, Keenan.
Everybody. Thank you. And we'll see you again next week, and we'll have a great topic next week as well.